All right, a couple of thoughts that I had as I was just doing a quick shoulder workout about random thought about pull-ups and doing pull-ups and how you should be performing the exercise, what the technique should be for a pull-up. Now, there's a lot of schools of thought on how to complete a pull-up. In a previous video that I made, I talked about the truth about back exercises and how much range of motion you need to go through to optimally hit muscles like your lats and your upper back shoulder retractor muscles and muscles to depress the shoulders. It really depends on your arm length and your height and your extremities and so on. So without going into further detail about that, I'm going to talk about another thing that I thought about with regards to pull-ups, and that is just what your back position should look like while you're doing pull-ups. I've heard a lot of people say that you should be as straight as an arrow from top to bottom when you're doing a pull-up, where your back stays straight. That the arch that comes, that some people go through, is a bad thing. Before I go on, I'm going to say that it really depends on what your goals are. If your goal is just to be able to get your chin above the bar more times or whatever, then that's an entirely different conversation than if you want to specifically strengthen and or develop the muscles of your back, shoulder retractors, shoulder depressors, etc. Right? And then it just becomes a conversation of biomechanics and the way that your body works and what activates muscles. So we all know that our back has a natural arch when we just stand up. We don't want it to be crazily pronounced, but we just want to have a regular lordotic curve at the bottom section of the back. So you're going to be standing straight just like that. With that said, we don't want to do anything to correct that or actually incorrect that by turning things under like that and keeping, people say keep your abs engaged or whatnot when you're doing the pull-up, or keep your abs engaged when you're doing another exercise to posteriorly tilt your pelvis so that you look something like this. Because the problem with that is that it actually deactivates muscles from your upper back from working, right? And the reason why is because it's impossible to retract your shoulders without your back arching. And this is the way that I always train a pull-up with myself or with my clients. I'll always set the shoulders first, and as soon as you do that, your back is going to arch no matter what. It's impossible to have your back straight and be able to retract your shoulders without it arching, because your rib cage has to raise, your shoulders have to come in together, your lower back's going to arch, and your thoracic region is going to extend. And that's what's going to happen when you do a proper pull-up to make your back do the work. Again, just to put into action, if you can get this from just like a little bit of a side view here, you'll see my chest makes it up a little bit closer to the first thing when I do my pull. I set my shoulders first and then I make my pull. Again. So you could clearly see that my rib cage is making its way up to the top first, okay? The same thing applies to chin-ups, and it's the way that my back is actually going to flex and do the work for the duration of a set, okay? Doing things another way, I don't even know if I can do this, but I'll try. I'd be using more of my arms and my biceps by keeping, let's say, my pelvis tucked underneath like this, and trying to pull with my arms and not let my shoulders retract. It's a completely different thing that happens there, and these guys do all the work. The shoulders get pulled out of position, and the traps get engaged a lot more than they need to be. The upper traps, that is, and we want to hit the lower traps. So it's just a simple conversation about your biomechanics and how your body is working to actually make the back muscles fire, which is the main reason why I like to use pull-ups, is to develop the back and strengthen the back muscles. We could pull with our arms all day. That's not going to help us in the big scheme of things. So that's it.